Hello RVers, this is Greg coming at you from WeeRVee, and today I'm going to use one of these. Today I'm here to talk about something that has been causing me concern for quite some time. And this particular video may ask more questions than it answers. But it's a blustery, windy, crappy day here in Galveston, Texas. So I thought this might be a good opportunity for me to talk about this thing that I've been wanting to get off my chest forever. And this is that thing. I have been using these things in my black tank, in my RV, via my toilet for about a year now. There, I said it. It's out there. Now, of course, when I first bought my RV, like all of you, went to 100 different videos to find out what is involved in taking care of your precious RV's precious plumbing sewage system. It's a black tank. I get tired of all the discussions of poop and do and two, so we don't need to talk about any of that stuff. We know what it's there for. It's a toilet. It's a pipe. Goes to a black tank, goes to another pipe, goes to a valve, it goes outside. Now, the first thing we all learn, and I'm just going to review it real quick. The first thing we all learn when we get RVs is, one, not to put crap down the tank. That was not a intended pun. Not to put things down the tank which ought not to go. Some of those things are obvious, like toys and dog toys and diapers and things like that. Other things maybe not so obvious. A lot of people think marine grade toilet paper is necessary, and we quickly learn if we watch enough videos that it really isn't necessary. Any toilet paper you get that says septic tank safe will do the trick, and that's not a problem. Okay, another thing we learn about, thing number 2, is to make sure that you don't leave your tank valve open when you're parked at an RV spot, even though you're connected to the sewer. That's for a couple of reasons. One, because it stinks like crazy when the smell from the sewage comes back up through your toilet. And 2, because this just makes sense. You want a lot of liquid in your tank so that it does not clog when you empty it. You want more liquid than solids. You want a lot more liquids than solids. And if you leave it open, that's not going to be the situation. So you close that black tank, and then every time you use the toilet, you make sure that you fill it up with water first for number 2, and not necessarily for number 1, because that's liquid already. But the point is, lots and lots and lots and lots of liquid in your tank. 1, just to avoid it clogging up, and 2, because you hear about different poop pyramids, which honestly I've never heard of anyone actually getting. I just hear about it all the time. It seems to me pretty silly that someone would be going to the bathroom that much in their tank and not using water. So I don't know. Anyway, and another thing was I always leave a little bit in there to slosh around when you're traveling on travel days so that it can just sort of slosh itself around. Number 4 is you do or you don't need certain treatments. I'm seeing things all over the board on this. Some people say you don't need treatment at all. Some people say the best treatment is the true pine salt stuff. Some people say it's this or that. Some say it breaks down. Some say it makes it smelly. All I know is I just put whatever stuff I find in Walmart, I drop it in there, and in a hot day it helps it smell better. I'm not too concerned really about what it's doing in the tank. Another thing is you don't throw toxic things down there to kill whatever bacteria, because you do need some bacteria to thrive down there and break things down. And also you don't want to be pushing that stuff down the typical RV septic tank or sewage tank or whatever's going on. It's just not a good idea. So those are just the basics we all follow to make sure we don't have any issues when emptying or using our black tank. But here's the thing. About a year ago, I decided I wanted to start using wet wipes. We use wet wipes for apparent reasons because dry toilet paper is really weird. Some countries, they don't even use toilet paper. Google India. I'm just telling you. So wet wipes really are very pleasant. And it's not focusing. Focus. Yeah, see, Cottonelle wet wipes specifically is the brand I am speaking about. I'm not talking about all wet wipes. This is the only wet wipe I'll have or ever will put down my tank. And now it says right on the front that it's tested by plumbers. Now, why would plumbers be testing a wet wipe? Well, because it says it's flushable. Now, here's my thought. Just hang with me. Black tanks are not cesspools or cess tanks. What am I trying to say? Septic tanks. They're not septic tanks or cesspools. They're just a holding tank where things stay for a while before you shoot them down. Now, I've seen a lot of people do tests with regular toilet paper to see how it breaks down, or different types to see how it breaks down with different additives, and they see which one breaks apart better. But none of them really completely disintegrate. They all have some substance about them, even after a time. And also, if you're a full-time RVer, you're probably dumping out your tank, every few days, not, never like a cesspool or a septic tank. Bear with me. So anything you're putting down there is never really dissolving, really ever. I don't think. I've seen no proof that it really does. It might soften up a bit, but it's still probably the thing that's going to clog up any toilet paper you use, no matter how much it dissolves, is likely the thing that's going to be clogging up your black tank. And here's why I think so. Because when I disgustingly look at the clear part of my drain tube that goes down into the sewage, and you should be watching that, as disgusting it is, to kind of see what's going on. I still see tons of toilet paper going down there, even when I wasn't using these, just regular toilet paper. And it doesn't look particularly broken down. It just looks like big hunks of toilet paper going down. So I don't know a lot about this, the technicals of my black tank. I know it's big, wide, and probably not very tall because it has to fit underneath. I'm expecting that the hole is probably about the size of this, that all the stuff has to get through. I don't know why they'd make it any smaller. And again, I'm not talking about people that have macerators, because that's a completely different discussion. If you don't know what a macerator is, it's a little blender that blends everything up and shoves it out. Most people don't have that. So we're not talking about that. Anyway, so the point I'm making is there's still toilet paper in your tank when you're dumping your tank, whatever toilet paper there is. And this toilet paper says, let me read for you. I should say these wipes say, I cannot read that. Try my wife's glasses. These still cannot read that. All right, this time for sure. These wipes meet flushability guidelines set by the wastewater treatment community, open parentheses, IWSFG 2020, close parentheses, and by the Disposable Wipes Trade Association, open parentheses, INDA, close parentheses. Now, before today, I'd never heard of those things. And if you look up those things, and I'll leave a link below, it talks primarily about what these things are, why they have them, and primarily what, as far as I can tell, I didn't read the whole thing. You read it yourself. Go crazy. I didn't care. Is because it's not just about personal septic tanks. It's about the whole sewage system in a city or in a community. And we've all seen those horrific pictures of the sewage system in the UK that got just clogged up with nappies and wet wipes and stuff. That's disgusting. None of us want that. But if this is saying it's okay for plumbers, and it's okay for a toilet, and it's okay for septic tanks, then why precisely, I'm asking you, please tell me, is it not okay to put in my toilet in my RV? That's really just it. I, again, am not an expert. I have been doing it for about a year now. I have had no issues. Exactly the way I do my black tank when I dump it is I wait till it burps to tell me it's full. And because, of course, like everyone, I don't care how many times you clean your tank, because if you clean it once, it's going to happen again. That meter, that black tank meter, never works. It always says it's full. If it says it's empty, hallelujah, and move on. So whenever it starts burping out of the tank, then I know it's full. That is when I go ahead and connect my hose to my flush. I've got my RV, my Grand Design Reflection RLTS has a little connection that I can put a hose into, and I start running water in there. Now, before I even open the valve, I run a little water in there just to let it build up a bit. Of course, you never want to do that and step away, and it's only for a few minutes. I sit there and watch it, because if you don't, if you do step well while you're dumping water into your tank and the valve's closed, it'll of course have an RV movie situation where it builds up and goes above, and it's going to be horrific, and you should never do that, because I like a little butt to build up in there as much as it can before I let it flush out. Then when I know it's pretty full, and sometimes I'll even take a flashlight and look down in my toilet to see if it's full, then I'll release the black handle and I'll let it all flush out, and I watch it. The point is, I watch like a hawk the contents of my black tank exiting while it exits. And until it's clear and I feel confident that nothing else is going to come out, that's when I shut that valve, I turn off that water, then I open my sink's gray tank to let that flush through, and then I open my shower's gray tank to let that flush through and clean out the hose, and that's how I do it. To this day, I have not had an issue using Cottonelle wet wipes doing this. So I would love to hear back from you. Is it a ticking time bomb? Am I crazy? Am I ruining something? Have I been lucky? Am I right? Because we could start a revolution. We could all buy shares of Cottonelle, because if we all knew this was working and was right and it became a thing in the RV community, whew, huzzah. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. Good luck with your black tank, and from Charli and I, travel on.